Hello guys. So I have been kind of thinking of working on some open source project so that I can gain some proficiency. And when I was just buffering the Upwork, and I found there is a requirement of employee management system, and user is kind of keen to pay a good amount. So I had kind of just do a Google little bit, but I don't find any kind of open source system that one can kind of just enable on their cloud system. So I think of designing the employee management system from scratch using definitely we would be using ChatGPT for the for help, right? So majorly cloud wise we will be using AWS only, and from the language perspective we would be going to use the Python. So what I will do, I will going to follow step by step and show you the progress what I have made in kind of each day. So this is the day zero of the kind of this project idea. So here we will be going to discuss the architecture diagram and what we would be developing basically. Okay. So if I scroll down a little, so like I have just made this architecture diagram. So what I have done, like I already did a good R&D on what the existing product are providing. Obviously, might be possible like our product is not, our project is not that kind of exhaustive, or you can say that kind of error safe in the starting, but definitely as we will be maturing we will be making this more and more, adding more and more features. Okay. So if you see like what I have written is like we would be having those kind of 4 or 5 modules that would be running onto the employee laptop, and then after this data would be pushing out to the some cloud. So I would be obviously using the AWS cloud only, and it would be, I would thinking of at least to push this data to AWS S3 and DynamoDB. So the reason being is AWS S3 is really a cheap service. I think it is very cost effective for storing like screenshots and all those type of the data. So that's the reason of using S3. DynamoDB is again serverless. So if I go with the PostgreSDB, it would going to cost me a fixed amount. I don't want to incur any cost as of now, and just we wanted to be in the free tier limit. So that's the reason of having this DynamoDB. But definitely we can think of if we really wanted to uh, shift to the PostgreSDB, then it's kind of an configurable changes. It is very really a very minor change from the code perspective. Okay. So let's see this what executable file I will be so I am what I will do, we will be having an executable file, and the user just has to run that on the employee management, I mean on the employee laptops, and it will be going to register as yourself, I mean the service as an auto startup service in the Windows, and then after it will be kind of running over all the time. Okay. And while it is running, it would be obviously would be doing some tasks. So here I have listed those tasks. Okay. The first one is it is the module for checking if the device is locked or not, and inactivity time. So basically I wanted to see if uh, the user's inactivity time has been passed out for a specific time. That means the user is away from the I mean the laptop, right? So that's the reason of having this. After we have module for taking a screenshot, obviously, so that if employer wants to see what exactly user is doing, they can see their screenshots as well. uh, and obviously depending on the device is locked or not and inactivity time, we can enabling and disabling this module as well. Like if the device is locked, we don't need to take the screenshots, right? It is kind of just the waste of the resources for storage and for processing and all those things, right? So there is no sense of taking screenshot at that time. So we would be needing the communication in between to those module as well. Then after we have module for reading the browser history and app usage. So we would be reading the Chrome or maybe the Edge. These are the two mainly used browsers as of now, but definitely in the future we can target other browsers as well. Or and after that we would be working on the tracking of the app users, like how much time user spent on a specific app, right? For PyCharm, for PPT, for Excel, or any other apps, like all the apps. So we would be going to keep this data as well. After that we would be having this data obviously on the local, like I am planning to store this data in a local SQL DB, like SQLite 3 kind of. I will use the library for storing and fetching data. and then after a certain time, this module would be responsible for reading data from the DB and local directory, and then after push this data to the cloud, right? So this module will be responsible for that task. Okay. After that, once we have this data onto the AWS S3 and DynamoDB, I am not saying like definitely we would be going to use those two services, but definitely once we have this data, we will think like what's the right place to store this data, and then after we take the decision. Okay. Now coming to the UI part, actually I'm thinking of designing the UI in the React, but point is I am not that proficient in the React, and even I don't have any interest in kind of React. Actually, I tried it a little, but I don't find it very interesting, at least me. So I am kind of a more like backend person rather than front end. So I thought of designing a chatbot like using Rasa open source kind of framework, you can say. And that Rasa, I will be deploying that chatbot either onto the EC2 or any Fargate or any app, I think on any EC2, I mean on any AWS services. And then after I am going to use this Rasa for fetching this data from the this S3 and this DynamoDB. So if it is kind of an only image I need to fetch from the S3, I would be definitely use directly put, I mean Boto 3 Python library that AWS is providing. But yeah, altogether I am also thinking of storing logs data and kind of what is the app uses data, kind of if device logged or inactivity time status data. So that basically the SQL data also I would be planning to store in the this S3 also. So for that, if we go on that path, like rather than storing in the DynamoDB or PostgreSDB, if we store that in the AWS S3, definitely we will be going to use AWS Athena as well for fetching the data. And apart from that, obviously, so the we would use Rasa. So let us suppose if the employee wants to see the logs for an specific day for a specific employee. So what user is going to write? Provide me the what XYZ person has done today in between 5 to 6, right? So this chatbot would be responsible for giving you the that screenshots and that all the logs, and then after all the browser history, all the apps that you have used, so it would provide you that data, right? In case if that data is very large, I will what I will do, I will going to email that user as well, right? So we'll see how we can maintain the user specific information, like which user is seeing, if that user has the right permission or not. We will definitely kind of we need to add some layer on top of that, top of the Rasa as well. But yeah, definitely we would think once we come here. And also if we think of like Rasa is not Rasa's natural actually provide an NLP kind of, you can say, engine with itself. And if that is not very proficient or very efficient, we can go with the AWS service as well. So AWS provide a service for this NLP task. So definitely we can think of using that as well. So for now we would be targeting this only, right? So I think that's a complete architecture, and I have also prepared an kind of an basic project folder, you can say, just monitoring and just the file name, and I am kind of typing the plan what I need to do. So if you see it here, like I have written the 5 processes that we need to do. The first process is obviously reading data from the like local directory and SQL DB and zip it and upload it to the AWS S3 or DynamoDB. Again, we will finalize AWS S3 or DynamoDB, but yes, definitely we need to write an Python process. It's normal. It is nothing like a very, you can say, complex task. It is just that like very easy, you can say, but that should be actually error free. The reason being is it is going to run as an executable file, right? So that's the reason. Then after I would go for process for taking screenshot, and after a certain interval, so the interval should be configurable and it would be read from the JSON file. I will see how I would implement this. Then after process for checking inactivity time. Then after if inactivity time exceed a certain level, we need to stop the screenshot taking process, and also we need to check if the screen is locked or not, so that we can on the UI side we can give kind of alerts like this user usually don't lock their screen in the office premise, which is an kind of security concern, right? So we can think of this as well. Then after process for checking logs from the browser and process logs relevantly to get which sites are most visited. So let us suppose we got 20 logs, like, and out of them, like, one is Azure, you can say, and AWS console, chat GPT. So obviously we don't need to individually handle all the entries, right? We just combine the all chat GPTs and just maintain the how many times we have visited this, right? Then after process for subscribing on SQSQ just to listen some events, like changing the screenshot taking interval. Okay, so what I have did, let us suppose in the future we got a requirement from the, we have deployed this application onto the employee's laptop, and now employer wants to take a screenshot after 5 minute frequency, and previously it was half an hour. Okay, whatever it is, so we wanted to change the screenshot taking frequency, let us suppose, right? So what we will do, our this basically this program that is running on the employee laptop, that would be going to subscribe on an SQS queue and listen for the any changes. Okay, and from the console, I mean from the application, from the this rasa basically, that we are kind of designing this rasa chatbot. If user writes change the screenshot taking time interval for up to now to 5 minutes, we would be kind of send this event to the AWS SQS, and all the laptops will going to listen that, and now change that screenshot taking frequency, right? So we need to implement this as well. So that's really an important feature. Apart from that, we can also think of, like, let us suppose if the employer finds some user as an kind of, you can say, uh, not working well, and they wanted to have their you can say their screenshots for specific 1 minute or 2 minute, while all the employees screenshot would be taken on the 10-minute frequency only. So right, so we can, in that case, we can also send an special kind of event to this device only, like, uh, so we need to see how we can customize this device ID concept as well, right? So this is going to be like important, so that we wanted to change the time period for a specific device only, right? So we cannot send an a global SQS message, right? We need to sort of think how we can have a kind of specific to device message as well, right? So that we would definitely think, but it is not an, you can say, very small task. It should take like very less time. Okay, so if you are not getting what is SQS, what is AWS S3, DynamoDB, or any of the keyword, you don't need to take kind of like pressure as of now. What we would do, we would pick each process and each activity one by one, and definitely going to understand it and deep dive it, and then after we'll do the coding, right? So apart from this, I have also thought over all of this process, like I should keep them on the multi-threading or multi-processing mode, right? So if you don't know what is multi-threading and multi-processing, so like it is like, multi-threading is like the process, all the tasks that we started in the multi-threading, let us suppose those three tasks, right, would be running on a single core, but single core and the threads are different. And if we wanted to run those tasks on the different core CPU cores, then we would be going to use the multiprocessing. So we should ideally use multiprocessing only if we have a very CPU intensive task, and threads only when we have an IO bound task, right? So I am assuming you know it, like CPU bound, like in which we are going to use CPU very heavily, right? And IO bound is like some network calls we need to do. We just need to do operation for a second, and then after that's it. So I think any of the task in this is not very CPU intensive, except this zip and upload AWS zip one, right? Sometimes the zipping takes a lot of time if it is really a heavy data. So definitely I am planning to start two processes. The first one is for this process actually, and the another, all those tasks I will be thinking of putting over a single process, and will start the thread for all of this. But definitely I will again rethink over this. So if you have any idea or suggestion on top of this, you can comment out in the comment section. You can comment out, obviously, sorry. So I think that's it for this video. If you have any query, concern, questions, suggestions, please post it down in the comment section. Thanks a lot.